Welcome to episode number 50. That's right, 50 of the Upgrade Your Life podcast. And today we're going to be talking about self-care, and I'm going to give you 5 tips to improve your self-care. Stay tuned. So the big question is, how do ambitious people like us, who grew up listening to the old advice of go to school, work hard for 40 years, and retire when you're old, create a life today that is meaningful, abundant, healthy, and brings joy, while also leading a life that is productive and full of achievement? That is the question, and this is the podcast that will help give you the answers that you're searching for. My name is Del Denny, and welcome to the Upgrade Your Life podcast. Welcome to episode number 50 of the Upgrade Your Life podcast. And what a monumental day this is for the Upgrade Your Life podcast. Big 50. That's a big milestone for us. So I'm excited. I want to celebrate that. We've had some amazing guests on the show from all over the world. And so it's been a lot of fun doing this. I've enjoyed it. I've learned so much from our guests. And we'll keep it going forward. And so anyways, let's get into today's topic, and that is self-care. And why is self-care important? We hear that. It's kind of a buzzword. So let's talk about self-care real quick. So self-care is taking care of yourself. Simple as that. And too often we burn ourselves out. We worry about other people. We're constantly taking care of, our kids. We're constantly taking care of our work and our business needs and all these things. And sometimes we forget ourselves. We forget to take care of ourselves. We forget to, how many of us have been working so hard on a project and we've forgotten to eat, right? And that's not very good self-care. For myself, I've flown way over 1 million miles. I hear this same story every time I get on a flight. In the case of an emergency, and the air mask comes down, make sure you put it on yourself first, and then you help out the person next to you. And you've heard it, I've heard it. And it's the same story of, hey, if something happens, you have to help yourself first. Then you can help other people. Because if you try to help other people out, you try to put the air mask on someone else, well, you might run out of oxygen and you might be done for. And you can't help anybody else after that. You're gone and you can't help anyone else out. And that's a lot like life. We have to practice self-care. So I'm going to give you 5 tips for improving your self-care, okay? And this will pay huge dividends down the road. Short-term, long-term, self-care is important. So here's the first one. Number 1, schedule your self-care time. That's important right there. We have to be intentional about it. For me, I really like to block out the mornings. That's the time for me to exercise. I like to block out Sundays to go do cryotherapy. That's my little self-care time. No one else goes to there, just myself. I schedule it on my calendar. And so when we're intentional about our self-care and put it on our calendar, we time block for it, more than likely it's going to get done. So first off, schedule your self-care time. It could be a block of time in the morning. Be a block of time in the afternoon, the evening, whatever it is, schedule it. Maybe it's a once a week thing, maybe it's a daily thing, but put it on your calendar. So that's the first way to practice self-care. Now here's the second thing. We have to eat right for self-care. They say that garbage in is garbage out. And so we have to be careful about what we put into our body. Think of ourselves as, a fancy car, a Lamborghini, for example. Hundreds of thousands of dollars to have a Lamborghini. And if you have a hundreds of thousands of dollars vehicle, what kind of gas are you going to put in it? Are you going to put that crappy stuff at Walmart, or are you going to find the premium stuff at a nice gas station? Well, you're probably going to put premium in there, right? Well, guess what? Our bodies are better than a Lamborghini. Our bodies are more expensive than a Lamborghini. We're worth more than that. So why are we putting crap into our sports car? And so we have to be careful about the nutrients that we put in our body. I'll give you another example. Thinking about our gut health. like that's really important. We'll talk about that as another part of that, and I'll show you ways to improve our gut health, but that involves eating right. Now, number 3 is exercise daily as a part of your self-care routine. I like to schedule that as well on my calendar. Is, Sunday nights, if you've listened to the podcast, I've talked about weekly planning. Well, I add that in my weekly planning is exercising. I take a big, broad scope of things. And I look at the upcoming week. For example, Sunday, I will do upper body. Monday, I will do lower body. Then Wednesday, I'll do high-intensity training, cardio, and the next day will be upper body, then lower body, then another high-intensity training, and then have a rest day. And it's all scheduled out, and so we have to make exercise a daily part of our self-care routine. Studies have shown that when we exercise, makes our brain fire better. It makes things run a little smoother. We're just a little bit sharper when we exercise. And plus, if we make it a part of our daily routine, I choose to do it early in the morning. That way we accomplish something. We do something hard at the very beginning. We sweat and we do it. We overcome it. And guess what? We have motivation. We have momentum going in through the rest of the day. So that is number 3. Now, number 4 is to take care of yourself by taking care of your gut. And this is often overlooked. We talked about this a little bit about eating right for self-care. Well, we also want to take care of our gut, and they call our gut our second brain for a reason. The bacteria that is in our gut directly affects our brain. And so how can we be better with our gut health? Well, a lot of fiber is good, get things going. But one thing I really like to do is to drink kombucha. I love kombucha. Has a lot of probiotics, polyphenols, a lot of things that are really good for your gut. And the healthier your gut, the sharper your brain is. And there's other things that you can take. You can take probiotics, fiber. But for me, I really like kombucha. Now, last thing I'm going to say, we talked about this a little bit yesterday on the podcast, is sleep. So the very thing I'm going to end with is this: make sleep a part of your self-care routine. So important. So important. In fact, I was also listening to a blurb from LeBron James about his sleeping schedule, and he doesn't grind and go crazy. I mean, he puts in the work, but he schedules his sleep first and works his way backwards. He gets 8 hours of sleep and then also a 2-hour nap on top of that, which is crazy to think about. So 8 hours of scheduled sleep, 2-hour nap, and then he plans his whole day around that. And you think about a top elite athlete and what they're doing with sleep. Well, shouldn't we be doing that too? I think about people that are getting 4 or 5 hours of sleep. They're probably not firing on all cylinders. And so again, scheduling sleep is so important. We talked about schedule your self-care time. Well, schedule some of that sleep too. So anyways, that is my take on self-care. That's just 5 simple things that you can do to improve your self-care. So schedule your self-care time. Eat right for self-care. Exercise daily as a part of your self-care routine. Take care of yourself by taking care of your gut. And finally, make sleep part of your self-care routine. So that is it, my friends. That is 5 ways to improve your self-care. That is it, my friends. Remember, learn, lead, and live to your full potential. Thanks so much for tuning in today. I hope you enjoyed today's podcast. If you've enjoyed this episode, please share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe to the show on iTunes to get automatic episode updates for the Upgrade Your Life podcast. And finally, please take a minute to leave us an honest review and rating on iTunes. Your feedback really helps us out when it comes to the ranking of the show, and I make it a point to read every single one of the reviews that we get. So thanks for listening. Thanks for joining me on the Upgrade Your Life podcast. Have a great day.